If you're so smart, why aren't you happy? So you would imagine that smart people are happier because happiness is one of our most important goals. Everybody agrees with that. And so given that they're smarter, you would think they'd be better than their not so smart counterparts at achieving happiness. But it turns out that there is no real correlation. One of the things that might lead these smart and successful people not to be so happy is that they just know too much, right? And all those pieces of knowledge make you feel that the world is not as happy a place as it could be. But what we find is in our research, it's not those kinds of things that really dampen people's happiness. It's rather the very things that kind of lead one to become smarter or successful. Like, for example, a tendency to rely a lot on the mind to solve problems, or the tendency to compare yourself to other people and be better than them and want to be better than them. That really contributes to the lowering of happiness, is what we find. What the research is showing now is that it's really not possible to sustain your happiness levels and lead a life with which you're satisfied unless you also seek meaning and value and living a better life, being compassionate, etc. So the John Stuart Mill statement that I'd rather be Socrates dissatisfied than a pig satisfied seems to at one level make sense. It points to this idea that our life is not in the end a kind of existence of trying to seek pleasure, trying to chase things that are quote unquote shallow, that are ephemeral sensory experiences, but rather it is to seek value in things that are of a higher order. So in other words, if you are truly a Socrates, then you would end up figuring out the ways to be happy. And if you're truly happy, you really couldn't be a pig. What would I recommend for people to achieve this happiness? I would say that a few things seem to matter a lot when it comes to happiness. First is that your basic necessities need to be met. Forget about happiness. Even to be not unhappy, you need to have a pretty good idea where your next meal is going to come from. And the second is that you need to feel that you're progressing towards what I call an MBA. This is progression towards mastery, belonging, and autonomy. So you need to feel that I'm really good at doing something. You also need to feel that I have deep connections with at least one other person. And you need to feel that nobody else is controlling your life. There's not, you don't live in a dictatorship where you don't have any freedom to choose what you eat or where you live and so on. So MBA, all three components are very, very important. And the third thing, which may be the most important one, is that you have a sense of abundance. That is that you feel that I'm taken care of and life is benevolent by nature and I have lots of friends and good things are going to happen to me. One example of how to inculcate the sense of abundance is to maintain what's called a gratitude journal. Actually write down in your journal every single day 3 things that made you really, really happy that day. So just little things that you can note down in your book. What it will do over time is that it will slowly but surely make you see the world through a slightly more rose-tinted glasses. If you make happiness your ultimate goal or your main goal, your focus, then if you're a true seeker of happiness, the conclusion would be that you can't escape also pursuing some other very, very important goals. And so, in a sense, you can replace the term happiness with a life of meaning, a life of fulfillment, a life of compassion, etc.